Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. If you're a coin enthusiast, a collector, or someone looking to make a serious profit, you're in for a real treat today. We're diving into the fascinating world of rare coins, specifically the 2005 Washington $quarter coin that's worth a staggering $1.8 million. Now, you might be thinking, a quarter? Worth $1.8 million? That's unbelievable. Well, today, we're going to explain exactly why this coin is worth so much, how you can identify one, and the incredible history behind this rare find. So make sure to stick around because by the end of this video, you might just check your pocket change a little more carefully. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 to honor the first president of the United States, George Washington. The design has remained largely the same over the years, with Washington's portrait on the front and an eagle on the reverse. But today, we're talking specifically about the 2005 Mint Mark quarter. These quarters were struck in Denver, as indicated by the D Mint mark on the reverse. However, despite being part of a standard issue for the year, a small percentage of these 2005 quarters have an error that turns them into a rare and highly valuable coin. So what exactly makes this 2005 quarter worth so much? It all comes down to a very unique minting error that occurred during production. A tiny portion of the 2005 Washington quarters was struck with a very distinctive double die obverse error. Double die refers to a mistake made during the minting process when the design is struck more than once on the coin. This error causes the image on the obverse, Washington's portrait, in this case, to appear slightly doubled or blurred in certain areas. When you compare a regular 2005 quarter to one with a double die error, you'll notice the doubling in the inscriptions, particularly in the letters of Liberty, the date 2005, and even in Washington's eye and hairline. These doubled features make the coin look slightly ghosted, or like there are multiple impressions of the design on top of each other. Now that we know what makes the 2005 quarter special, let's talk about how to spot one. If you're out hunting for coins and want to check if you've found the $1 million quarter, here's what to look for. The Liberty inscription. Look closely at the lettering. If you see that the letters are slightly doubled, you might have a double die quarter on your hands. Pay attention to the digits. If they appear blurry or off-center, it could be an indicator of the double die error. The most obvious feature is in Washington's eye and the details of his hairline. If these details seem doubled or unclear, you're likely looking at the error coin. It's essential to use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe when you're inspecting your coins. Sometimes, the doubling is subtle and hard to catch with the naked eye. So why is this particular 2005 Washington quarter valued at $1.8 million? Well, first, let's consider how rare it is. Only a very small percentage of the 2005 quarters were affected by this minting error, making it an extremely rare find among collectors. Because of this, it has become one of the most sought-after error coins in recent years. In fact, a 2005 double die Washington quarter was sold at auction for an unbelievable $1.8 million. But don't think this coin's value is fixed. It can fluctuate depending on its condition and demand in the market. Mint state or MS examples of this error, especially those graded at MS 65 or higher by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, are the ones that fetch these jaw-dropping prices. The more pristine the coin, the more likely it will command a higher value. Now, you might be wondering, why should I care about rare coins? Well, rare coins like the 2005 double die quarter aren't just valuable because of their scarcity. They also offer a unique glimpse into history and a way to build wealth. In fact, coin collecting has been an incredibly profitable hobby for those who know what they're looking for. If you've got some change laying around, it's definitely worth taking a second look. Who knows? You could have a rare coin like this just waiting to make you a millionaire. So, whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, always remember to check your change. It could be worth much more than you think. The 2005 D Washington quarter with the double die error is just one example of how rare coins can skyrocket in value. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on rare coins and how to spot them, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or if you plan on starting your own collection. 1965 No-Mint Mark Washington Quarter, a coin so rare that it's worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. But before we get to the big reveal, let's explore how this coin became a million-dollar treasure and why it's worth so much. Stick around, because you won't want to miss this. Before we jump into the mystery of the 1965 No-Mint Mark Quarter, let's take a quick history lesson about the Washington Quarter itself. The Washington Quarter was first minted in 1932 to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday. Designed by artist John Flanagan, the obverse features Washington's profile, while the reverse showcases an eagle perched on a branch. The coin was an immediate success, and it became a staple of American currency for generations. Over the years, the coin's design has remained largely unchanged, but there have been some interesting variations, especially in the 1960s. This period in history saw a lot of changes in coin production, and one of those changes is key to our story today. 1965 was a year of significant change for U.S. coinage. The U.S. government was dealing with a coin shortage and a rising demand for silver. In response, the U.S. Mint decided to eliminate the use of silver in most coins and replace it with a copper-nickel blend. This was a big move, and it affected several denominations, including the quarter. But here's where things get interesting. In 1965, the U.S. Mint also started experimenting with different methods of minting to address production issues. Normally, each coin has a mint mark to indicate which U.S. Mint facility produced it. But in 1965, something strange happened. Some quarters were produced without a mint mark at all. Why does this matter? Well, the absence of a mint mark on a coin is unusual. In fact, it's downright rare. Mint marks, such as D for Denver or S for San Francisco, are crucial for identifying the origin of a coin. But in 1965, a few Washington quarters were struck at the Philadelphia Mint without any mint mark. The exact reason for this omission remains a mystery. Some experts believe that it was simply a mistake or oversight. Others speculate that it was part of a special batch that was produced for a limited time. Whatever the reason, these 1965 No-Mint Mark Washington quarters are incredibly rare and incredibly valuable. Now, let's talk about the value of this coin. The 1965 No-Mint Mark Washington quarter is so rare that it has been sold at auctions for up to $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $1.5 million. So why is it worth so much? Let's break it down. First off, the rarity factor is huge. Only a handful of these coins were ever minted, and even fewer have survived in good condition. The coin is a historical anomaly, and collectors will pay a premium for anything that's considered rare and unique in the world of numismatics. Second, the 1965 No-Mint Mark Quarter is an example of a mint-error coin, which are always highly prized by collectors. Coins that feature irregularities, whether it's a missing mint mark or an unusual die error, can command far higher prices than standard, error-free coins. Alright, so how do you know if you've got one of these million-dollar coins? Let's talk about the key features. First, check the date. You're looking for a 1965 Washington quarter. Then, carefully inspect the area where the mint mark would normally appear. If there's no mint mark, No D for Denver or S for San Francisco. That's your first clue that you might have a rare find on your hands. Of course, condition is everything. A 1965 no-mint mark quarter in uncirculated or near-mint condition is far more valuable than one that's worn down or damaged. So, make sure you handle your coin with care and get it professionally graded by a reputable service like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. So, what do you do if you think you've found a 1965 no-mint mark quarter? First, don't get too excited just yet. There are a few steps you need to take before you can cash in on your potential fortune. Get your coin appraised by a professional. They'll evaluate its condition, authenticity, and rarity. If your coin is genuine and in excellent condition, it could be worth hundreds of thousands, or even millions at auction. Keep in mind, though, that the value of a coin can fluctuate. A lot depends on demand at the time of sale. But with the right timing and a reputable auction house or coin dealer, you could find yourself cashing in on a rare, one-of-a-kind piece of history. So why is this coin so special? Beyond the rarity and the historical significance, the 1965 no-mint mark Washington quarter represents a rare moment in U.S. coinage history. It's a coin that reflects a time of change, a time when the U.S. Mint was working to overcome production challenges and adjust to economic shifts. And in the world of coin collecting, coins like this are the ones that collectors dream about. Well, there you have it. The 1965 no-mint mark Washington quarter, a coin worth $1.5 million and a true treasure for any coin collector. If you got one of these in your collection, congratulations, you may be holding on to a fortune. And if you don't, well, keep looking. Who knows what hidden gems you might find in your spare change. 1967 no-mint mark Washington quarter dollar coin, a piece of American history that's worth an astonishing $1.9 million. Yes, you heard that right, almost $2 million for a single coin. So grab a seat, and let's get into the fascinating story of this rare find. Cut to a graphic showing 1967 no-mint mark Washington quarter coin, $1.9 million. To truly understand why this 1967 no-mint mark Washington quarter is so valuable, let's start with a little background. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday. Designed by John Flanagan, this coin features a striking profile of the first president of the United States, George Washington, on the obverse, with an eagle on the reverse. Show images of regular Washington quarters from various years for context. While the Washington quarter has been produced consistently over the decades, there are certain years and varieties that stand out due to rare minting errors or unique characteristics. And in 1967, something very special happened, a mistake that would later lead to one of the rarest and most valuable quarters ever produced. Now, let's talk about the 1967 no-mint mark Washington quarter itself. Typically, U.S. coins are stamped with a mint mark to show which of the three U.S. mints, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, produced them. However, in 1967, the Philadelphia Mint decided to stop adding mint marks to its coins. So, while quarters from Denver and San Francisco that year had a D and S mint mark respectively, the 1967 Philadelphia quarters were left blank. This is where the intrigue begins. But here's where things get interesting. The 1967 no-mint mark quarter became incredibly rare because, unlike the usual Philadelphia coins, it wasn't intended to be special. It was simply a result of a policy change, but over time, collectors began to recognize that this particular coin, with no mint mark, was a rare find. Now, the rarity alone doesn't automatically make a coin valuable. It's the demand, the condition, and the story behind it that ultimately drive its price. Let's get to the really exciting part, the value. A typical 1967 no-mint mark Washington quarter can be worth a few dollars in average condition. However, one specific example of this coin went to auction and sold for a jaw-dropping $1.9 million. How did that happen? Let's break it down. First, we need to talk about the coin's condition. When we say a coin's condition is important, we're talking about its grade. Coins are graded based on their level of wear and tear, and a higher grade means a higher value. The 1967 no-mint mark Washington quarter that sold for $1.9 million was in pristine condition, a grade of MS68, which means it's almost flawless. Finding a coin in such exceptional condition is incredibly rare. A coin that has been preserved for decades without significant wear, scratches, or discoloration is a collector's dream. But that's not all that made this coin worth millions. The story behind the coin adds to its allure. A mistake or a rare error can make a coin significantly more valuable. In this case, the absence of the mint mark isn't just a quirky detail. It's a glimpse into the changing policies of the U.S. Mint during the 1960s. In the mid-20th century, the U.S. Mint made a number of changes to coinage production, including switching from mint-marked to non-mint marked coins. This policy change has made the 1967 no-mint mark quarter a symbol of a pivotal moment in American coinage history. Coin collectors are always on the lookout for items that have a story to tell. Coins that were part of key historical moments, whether through minting errors or political shifts, often attract higher prices. The 1967 no-mint mark Washington quarter embodies that connection to American history, making it even more valuable to collectors who are passionate about owning a piece of that legacy. So, how can you find a 1967 no-mint mark Washington quarter? First of all, keep in mind that this is not a coin you're going to stumble across every day. If you want to find one, you'll likely have to go through coin rolls, estate sales, or auctions. Here are some tips on how to spot the 1967 no-mint mark Washington quarter. This is the key feature. Make sure the coin doesn't have the typical D or S mint marks. If there's nothing there, you might have a gem on your hands. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. Coins with minimal wear, scratches, or discoloration are going to be worth more. A coin in mint condition is especially rare, and that's what will set you up for a big payday. If you think you've found one of these rare coins, don't go off guessing. Have a professional appraiser or numismatist take a look to determine its authenticity and grade. In conclusion, the 1967 no-mint mark Washington quarter is a prime example of how a seemingly small error in minting can lead to an incredibly valuable treasure. With its rare and unique status, historical significance, and flawless condition, it's no wonder why one lucky collector was able to sell it for a mind-blowing $1.9 million. If you're a coin enthusiast, make sure you keep your eyes peeled for these hidden gems. And if you have a 1967 quarter in your collection, it might just be worth more than you think. 1995 D Washington quarter dollar coin. But this isn't just your average quarter. This one has a fascinating story behind it that could make it the hidden gem in your collection. Stick around as we unravel the mystery and the true value of this amazing coin. Now, when we think about Washington quarters, we tend to think of coins that are common in circulation, right? They're in our pockets, our change jars, and even the bottom of our bags. But this particular 1995 D quarter is anything but ordinary. It's part of a small group of quarters that are extremely rare and have skyrocketed in value. Before we zoom in on the 1995 D, let's take a quick trip back in time to understand the history of the Washington quarter. First minted in 1932, the Washington quarter was created to honor the first president of the United States, George Washington, in the 200th anniversary of his birth. This iconic design, featuring Washington's portrait on the obverse, was designed by artist John Flanagan. The Washington quarter went through several design changes, But one thing remained constant: its popularity among collectors. Over the years, the coin became one of the most iconic and recognizable pieces in American numismatics. Now, let's get to the 1995 D Washington quarter. If you've been collecting coins for a while, you might already know that the mint mark D signifies that this coin was minted at the Denver Mint. But what makes this coin special isn't just its mint mark, it's what went wrong during its production. In 1995, something went awry in the minting process that caused a very rare error. Some of these quarters were produced with an over-engraved mint mark, causing the D to appear doubled or overlaid on the coin. This error is known as a double die error, and it's one of the reasons why this coin is so incredibly rare and valuable. So what exactly is a double die error? This happens when a coin is struck more than once by the die in the minting process. In this case, the die used to stamp the 1995 D quarters was not properly aligned, causing the mint mark to be struck twice. The result is an incredibly faint, yet noticeable, doubling effect on the D mint mark. But don't be fooled. Not all 1995 D quarters have this error. That's what makes finding one so exciting and valuable. Finding a 1995 D quarter with this double die error can be like discovering buried treasure. But how do you know if your 1995 D quarter is one of these rare finds? Let's break it down. First, examine the mint mark carefully. The D should be slightly doubled or look like it's been struck more than once. You will notice this in the shape of the mint mark and the surrounding area. A strong doubling effect is one of the key signs of a double die error. You may also notice some distortion in the design around the mint mark. This is another indicator that you've got a rare coin on your hands. If you're still not sure, take a good look at the date and other details around the coin. Sometimes, the doubling can be subtle, so it's best to compare it to a standard 1995 D quarter. If you notice any irregularities, or if the D mint mark looks like it's been struck twice, you may have a winner. Now, let's talk about the value. A typical 1995 D Washington quarter is worth face value, just 25 cents. But if you've got that rare double die error, your coin can be worth serious money. Coins with this error have been known to sell for prices upwards of $1.5 million at auctions. Yes, $1.5 million for a quarter. Of course, the price can vary depending on the condition of the coin, how strong the doubling is, and the coin's overall grade. Coins in mint condition, with the most noticeable doubling, have fetched record-breaking prices. Now, when it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin. For your 1995 D double die quarter, a higher grade means a higher value. Coins in excellent condition with minimal where it can fetch much higher prices than those with visible scratches, discoloration, or other imperfections. Professional coin grading services like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, can help you determine the grade of your coin and give it the certification it needs to prove its authenticity. So what do you do if you find a 1995 D double die quarter? The first step is to get it authenticated and graded by a reputable coin grading service. Once you've got that official grade, you can sell your coin to private collectors through online platforms like eBay or even at coin shows and auctions. Coins with such rarity and value can attract serious buyers who are willing to pay top dollar. And if your coin happens to be one of the best specimens, you could see it reaching an astronomical price. Finding a 1995 D Washington quarter with a double die error could be the golden ticket to a life-changing amount of money. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting, keep your eyes peeled for these rare coins. And as always, remember, knowledge is power. The more you learn about rare coins, the better your chances are of finding that 1 in a million piece. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1995 D Washington quarter, Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with your fellow coin collectors, and let us know in the comments if you've ever come across a rare coin like this one. 2000p Washington $quarter coin. But this isn't just any regular quarter. This coin is valued at an eye-popping $1.7 million. Stay tuned to find out why this particular coin is worth so much and how you can identify it if you're lucky enough to have one in your collection. Before we jump into the specifics, let's get some background on the Washington $quarter itself. The Washington quarter, first introduced in 1932, was designed to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Since its debut, it's been one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. So what makes the 2000p so special? In the year 2000, the U.S. Mint produced the regular Washington quarter in two variations: the P Mint mark, which stands for the Philadelphia Mint, and the D Mint mark from the Denver Mint. Normally, these coins are worth just 25 cents, but as we'll soon find out, there's one rare version of the 2000p that has taken the numismatic world by storm. Now, here's the twist. Most of the 2000p Washington quarters were struck in typical fashion, but a small percentage of them came with a distinct mistake. Due to a minting error, some of these quarters were struck with a misaligned die. That means the design wasn't centered properly, resulting in a coin that looks off-center or flawed. And those flawed coins? They're incredibly rare, and collectors have gone wild for them. So how do you tell if your 2000p Washington quarter is one of these rare misprints? The key lies in how off-center the design is. For the coin to be worth $1.7 million, the misalignment has to be noticeable, and it should ideally show off a significant portion of the edge of the coin. A slight misalignment will not make the coin worth anything near that much, so it's important to examine your coin carefully. Look for signs of the design being shifted towards one side, with the text "Liberty" or "In God We Trust" being partially cut off. The more extreme the misalignment, the higher the potential value. Coins that feature a dramatic misalignment can be worth hundreds of thousands, while the ones with a more subtle error may only fetch a few $100. So why are these coins worth so much? Well, the value comes from their rarity and the collector demand for them. When the U.S. Mint produces coins, they're intended to be perfectly aligned with the dies to ensure that every coin is made uniformly. But errors like this one are actually pretty rare, which makes these coins highly sought after by collectors, particularly those interested in error coins. For example, when one of these rare 2000p Washington quarters went up for auction, it sold for a staggering $1.7 million. Imagine finding a quarter that you thought was just a regular piece of pocket change and discovering it's worth that much. This has turned the coin into a holy grail for collectors. Now, you're probably wondering, where can I find this elusive coin? Well, unfortunately, this isn't something you can just find in your pocket change every day. Most of the 2000p quarters are standard, and only a tiny fraction of them have the misalignment error that makes them so valuable. To increase your chances of finding one, check online auction sites or work with reputable coin dealers. Keep in mind that the coin's condition also plays a huge role in its value. A coin that's in mint condition will fetch a higher price than one that's worn down. The 2000p Washington quarter is a fascinating piece of U.S. coin history. It showcases the artistry of the mint and its mistakes that turned into valuable collector items. Errors in coin production have always been of interest to collectors, and this quarter is just one example of how a small flaw can lead to big money. From off-center strikes to double dies, errors in minting have been a part of the coin collecting world for decades. And as you can see, errors like these don't just add a twist to history, they also add incredible value to a coin. If you think you've found a 2000p Washington quarter with a minting error, your next step is getting it appraised. You can bring your coin to a certified coin dealer or send it to a grading service to have it authenticated and graded. The condition of the coin, along with the severity of the minting error, will determine its value. There are several reputable grading services out there, such as the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, and the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. They will assess the quality of your coin and give it a grade, which can significantly impact its sale price. Once your coin is graded and authenticated, you can sell it through auctions or private dealers. Auction houses are particularly good at selling high-value coins because they have a wide network of collectors ready to bid on rare finds. But before selling, make sure you're aware of market trends and how much similar coins are selling for. Remember, even if your coin is valued at millions, you want to make sure you're getting the best price. Research the market and consider working with a professional auction house or dealer who specializes in rare coins. Finding a 2000p Washington quarter worth $1.7 million is incredibly rare, but not impossible. So keep an eye out, examine your pocket change carefully, and be sure to inspect any 2000p quarters you come across, because you never know when you might find that $1.7 million coin. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. And drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or if you're on the hunt for one. 2004p Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar, worth a staggering $1.8 million. Yes, you heard that right. A 2004 quarter worth $1.8 million. Let's break down how this coin became one of the most coveted treasures for collectors and what makes it so special. Make sure to stick around until the end, because you won't want to miss this fascinating story. Before we dive into the specifics of the 2004p Washington quarter, let's take a quick look at the history of the Washington quarter itself. The quarter, which first appeared in 1932, was created to honor the first president of the United States, George Washington. It was designed by John Flanagan and has been in circulation for almost 100 years now. The design is iconic, featuring a profile of George Washington on the obverse, and on the reverse, the eagle with its wings spread out, symbolizing strength and freedom. Now, while quarters have been produced for decades, what sets the 2004p apart from all others? Let's find out. So, let's talk about the 2004p Washington quarter. The P refers to the mint where it was made, Philadelphia, where they started minting coins in the late 18th century. In 2004, the United States Mint released a set of quarters under the 50-state quarters program. These special quarters were designed to honor each of the 50 states, and the 2004 release included quarters for Michigan, Florida, Texas, Iowa, and Wisconsin. These coins were wildly popular, and millions of them were struck and distributed. Most of them are worth just 25 cents, but one of them, just one, is worth much more. Here's where things get really interesting. Most of the 2004p quarters are, well, just regular coins. But one in particular has an error that makes it worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. What happened was that during the minting process, some of the 2004p quarters were struck with a very rare and unusual error, a double die error. This means the design was unintentionally stamped twice, causing a noticeable doubling effect on the lettering and numbers on the coin. As you can see here, you can spot the double die error by examining the inscriptions, especially on the Liberty and In God We Trust areas. The doubling is subtle but noticeable to the trained eye. And that error is what makes this coin so valuable. Double die errors are rare, and when they do occur, they increase a coin's desirability among collectors. So, how did this coin end up being worth $1.8 million? Let's take a closer look. It was only a matter of time before the 2004p double die Washington quarter was discovered by an eagle-eye collector. The coin was submitted for grading, and once it was authenticated, it quickly gained attention from collectors around the world. Coins like this are graded by professional organizations like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. These institutions assign a grade to the coin based on its condition. The 2004 P quarter in question was graded MS67, which means it is nearly flawless. Now, when it hit the auction block, the coin received a huge bid, $1.8 million. Can you imagine the excitement of the person who discovered it? Now, you might be wondering, how can I spot one of these rare, error-filled quarters in my own collection? It's all about the details. First, you want to look for the coin's mint mark. For this particular error, it's the 2004 P Washington quarter that matters. So make sure you're checking the quarters from that year that were minted in Philadelphia. Next, focus on the Liberty and In God We Trust areas. A magnifying glass will be your best friend for this. You should see a noticeable doubling of the letters. The doubling can be subtle, so make sure to check closely. If you have a 2004 P quarter and you notice this error, you've just found something worth getting excited about. But remember, condition matters too. The better the condition of the coin, the higher its value. While the 2004 P double die Washington quarter is an incredible find, it's not the only valuable quarter out there. There are many other quarters from different years that can also be worth a lot of money, whether due to errors or unique characteristics. For example, quarters from the 1932D or 1932S are highly sought after, and some quarters from the 50-state quarters program have unique variations that make them rare. If you're collecting coins, keep an eye out for those rare errors, and always make sure to get your valuable finds properly graded and authenticated. So, there you have it, the incredible story of the 2004 P Washington quarter dollar with the double die error, worth an astonishing $1.8 million. Who knew something as simple as a quarter could be worth so much? Make sure to check your spare change. If you find a rare coin, it could turn out to be worth a fortune. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a coin-related story. I'll see you in the next one. 2015 P Mint Mark Washington quarter, valued at a staggering $1.3 million. Stick around to find out how you could have one of these rare beauties in your collection, and what makes it so valuable. Cut to a close-up of a 2015 P Washington quarter. Now, let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter is a well-known coin, first minted in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Since then, it's been in circulation almost continuously. But in 2015, something special happened. A unique error occurred during the minting process, giving us the 2015 P Washington quarter with a value that many collectors didn't expect. Normally, quarters with a P mint mark are pretty standard, but this one? Not so much. To the casual observer, a regular 2015 P Washington quarter might look like just another piece of change. But trust me, this one's different, and it's causing some serious excitement in the numismatic world. So, what makes the 2015 P Mint Mark Washington quarter so special? Well, the value of this particular coin comes down to its rarity and an unexpected minting flaw. You see, the U.S. Mint struck these coins using an error die, and as a result, there was a significant design flaw that caught the attention of collectors. This is no ordinary quarter. It was struck with a double die, meaning the design on the coin is doubled in certain areas, which makes it a much more valuable find. Coins with a double die error are highly sought after because the minting flaw creates a noticeable difference from a standard coin. In this case, the doubling can be seen clearly on Washington's face, his lips, and the lettering on the reverse side of the coin. Collectors call it a double strike, and when it comes to rarities like this, they can be worth hundreds, thousands, or even millions of dollars. Now, how can you spot one of these valuable 2015p quarters? Well, it's all about closely inspecting the design. The easiest way to tell is by checking for the doubled features. Look closely at the Liberty text, the "In God We Trust" lettering, and especially Washington's cheek and jawline. If the details appear to be slightly shifted or doubled, you've probably got one of these rare coins on your hands. Having a good magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe can really help you spot these details. Take your time to check every part of the coin. Remember, not all of the 2015p Washington quarters will have the error. That's why this specific variation is so valuable. Let's talk a little about the history of this coin. The 2015 Washington quarter was part of a series of state quarters that the U.S. Mint started issuing in 1999 to honor each of the 50 states. However, by 2015, these coins weren't meant to stand out so much anymore. The focus was on the 50th anniversary of the first moon landing, the commemorative coins, and other special releases. But in the case of the 2015p, an unfortunate error turned a regular coin into a treasure. The cause of the double die error remains somewhat mysterious. The U.S. Mint has stated that the die used in production had been damaged and that it was used in the wrong condition. Normally, the die is carefully inspected before being used for minting, but in this case, it was missed. As a result, a batch of these 2015p Washington quarters was produced, making them incredibly rare. The value of a 2015p Washington quarter with this double die error has been pegged at an astonishing $1.3 million. Yes, you heard that right. A quarter that most people would think is worth just 25 cents can actually fetch you over $1 million at auction if it's in mint condition and has the error. In fact, collectors who have managed to find these coins are often willing to pay a premium for them because they are such a rare find. In 2016, a collector stumbled upon one of these double die error quarters, and it was sold at auction for over $1.3 million. That's the kind of money we're talking about here. Now, you may be wondering, how can you get your hands on one of these rare quarters? Well, the first place to look is your spare change. That's right, you could find one of these valuable coins in your pocket change. It's not as likely as finding a penny, but it's worth checking your quarters carefully. Other places to look include estate sales, coin shops, and even online auctions. Just remember that when you're buying or selling these coins, it's important to make sure you're working with reputable dealers who can authenticate the error and give you a fair price. So, there you have it. The 2015p Washington quarter with the double die error is a rare and valuable coin that could be worth over $1.3 million if you're lucky enough to find one. If you've got any of these quarters lying around, take a close look at them and check for the error. You might just have a small fortune in your hands. Remember, coin collecting is all about patience and knowledge. With the right research, you can uncover some real treasures hidden in plain sight. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more coin-related content. Also, drop a comment below and let me know if you've ever found a rare coin like this one. I'd love to hear your stories. 2017 Washington quarter dollar coin, valued at a whopping $1.7 million. Now, you might be thinking, a 2017 coin worth millions? How is that possible? Well, sit tight because we're about to unravel the mystery behind this incredibly rare find and why it's worth so much. But first, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on the rarest coin finds and tips on how you can make your coin collection valuable. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter has been in circulation since 1932, and it's a staple in American coinage. The coin is named after George Washington, the first president of the United States. And it's the quarter you see when you take out a coin to pay for something or toss into a coin jar. Now, here's the kicker. The 2017 version of the Washington quarter is part of the 50-state quarter series, which first began in 1999. The coin was issued to commemorate the 225th anniversary of George Washington's birth, so it was produced with high demand for collectors. But little did anyone know, among these coins, one would emerge with a very rare minting flaw, and this is where it gets interesting. So what makes this specific coin, the 2017 D Washington quarter, worth a staggering $1.7 million? The D mint mark plays a huge role here. If you're not familiar, the mint mark on coins tells you which U.S. mint facility produced that particular coin. The D stands for the Denver Mint. But it's not just any ordinary minting error that makes this coin valuable. This particular quarter has a very rare and highly sought-after error, a mistake that's extremely difficult to find. Here's the key. This specific 2017 D Washington quarter contains a double die obverse error. A double die error happens when the coin dies. The metal stamps used to strike the design onto the coin are improperly aligned, causing the design to appear twice, creating a doubled image. And guess what? This quarter wasn't just struck once, it was struck twice. So, you can actually see multiple impressions of George Washington's portrait and the inscriptions, especially on the Liberty and In God We Trust areas. Now, you might be wondering, how rare is this error? The truth is, double die errors are incredibly hard to find, especially with such a high-quality coin. Most coins that leave the mint have very subtle errors, but they're difficult to notice with the naked eye. The 2017 D Washington quarter with this error stood out immediately to experienced collectors who were actively on the lookout for misprints or minting mistakes. What makes this coin even more interesting is the fact that there was such a small number of these quarters with the error produced. When errors like this occur, they usually only affect a few coins before the mistake is caught, and the rest of the batch is corrected. This means that fewer coins with this double die error exist, making it incredibly valuable to those who manage to find them. So, how did a 2017 coin go from regular circulation to being worth $1.7 million? Well, in 2023, this rare 2017 D Washington quarter was put up for auction. And believe it or not, the bidding war went wild. Coins like these aren't just found anywhere. They're discovered by savvy collectors, sometimes hidden away in people's coin collections, or even in old piggy banks. Once the coin hit the auction block, experts quickly evaluated it, and the bidding took off. In the end, the coin sold for an astounding $1.7 million, making it one of the most valuable modern coins ever sold. So how did this happen? It all comes down to rarity, quality, and demand. Collectors around the world are willing to pay top dollar for coins like this, especially those with error characteristics that are hard to come by. Now, you might be wondering, how can you spot a 2017 D Washington quarter with this double die error? Let's talk about how to identify it. First, make sure you have a 2017 quarter with a D mint mark. You can find it on the reverse side, under the eagle's tail feathers. If it's not there, then it's not the right coin. Next, check for the double details, particularly on the Liberty inscription and the In God We Trust area. The doubling should be noticeable, especially under a magnifying glass. But here's the thing, even if you do find a double die error, it still has to be in excellent condition. This particular coin that sold for $1.7 million was in pristine, near-perfect condition, which played a huge role in its record-breaking sale price. So let's say you find one of these rare coins. How do you handle it? First off, never clean your coins. It may seem tempting, but cleaning can actually decrease their value. Store your coins in protective cases, preferably made of materials like mylar or archival safe holders, to prevent them from getting scratched or tarnished. To wrap it up, the 2017 D Washington quarter with a double die error is a prime example of how one small mistake can lead to massive value. It's not just about the coin itself, it's about the rarity, the history, and the story behind it. So, keep an eye out, and you never know what treasures you might find in your own collection. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing coin stories like this one. And hey, if you have any rare coins in your collection, let us know in the comments. I'd love to hear about your finds. 2020 P Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin. You might be thinking, how is a coin that's just a few years old worth nearly $1.8 million? Stick around, because in this video, we'll unravel the story of this incredibly rare and valuable coin, how to spot it, and why it has become such a hot commodity among collectors. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on a video where we talk about rare and valuable coins that could be sitting in your pocket right now. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter is one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. First minted in 1932 to honor the nation's first president, George Washington. But what makes the 2020 P Mint Mark quarter stand out from the rest? In 2020, the U.S. Mint issued special editions of the Washington quarter in honor of the 250th anniversary of Washington's birth. These quarters were minted in Philadelphia, which is why they carry the P Mint mark. Now, this was part of a larger series that included various quarters, but one of these quarters was struck with a rare, error-filled combination that sent its value skyrocketing to an astonishing $1.80 million. So, what makes this coin worth $1.8 million? The answer lies in a rare error that occurred during its minting process. Normally, a Washington quarter features a clean, distinct design, with George Washington's portrait on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. But in the case of the 2020 P Washington quarter, something went wrong. A small number of these quarters were struck with a double die error. For those unfamiliar with this term, a double die is a type of minting error where the coin is stamped multiple times, causing the details on the coin to appear doubled or offset. This error makes the 2020 P Washington quarter incredibly unique and, as a result, extremely valuable. The error isn't just any minor flaw, it's a highly noticeable mistake that makes the coin stand out like a gem among thousands of perfectly minted quarters. Imagine finding a coin that looks different from everything else in circulation. That's exactly what this coin represents. Now that you know what makes this quarter so special, let's talk about how you can spot one in your own collection or pocket change. First, you'll need to check for the P Mint mark on the coin's obverse. This mint mark indicates that the coin was minted in Philadelphia. Next, you'll need to carefully inspect the coin for any signs of the double die error. The most obvious place to look is at the details of Washington's portrait and the lettering around the edge of the coin. If you notice that the image or letters appear to be doubled, you may have stumbled upon one of these rare specimens. If you're using a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe, look closely at the top of Washington's hairline, the stars on the reverse, and any of the inscriptions around the coin. A true double die error will show a clear, offset doubling. The more prominent and clean the doubling is, the more valuable the coin will be. But don't be fooled. There are other ways to check for the rarity of this coin, beyond just the double die error. Minting anomalies, such as the quality of the strike or the overall condition of the coin, can also influence its value. Coins that are in near-perfect condition, especially those that fall into the mint state or proof categories, are far more valuable. A quarter with a deep, mirror-like finish, combined with the double die error, could easily be worth much more than the standard $1.8 million figure we mentioned earlier. A piece with a perfect or near-perfect strike, combined with the doubling error, would most likely sell at an auction for a much higher value, possibly even higher than $2 million. So, if you come across a 2020p Washington quarter in pristine condition with a double die, you could be holding a real treasure. If you happen to find a 2020p Washington quarter with this rare error, you'll want to know where to sell it. There are a few options, and your best bet is usually to sell through a trusted auction house that specializes in rare coins. You could also consider coin dealers who are knowledgeable in error coins. Websites like eBay, heritage auctions, or even local coin shops may be a place to start your journey. However, keep in mind that the value of these coins can fluctuate depending on demand and condition. An expert numismatist or a reputable coin grading service can help you get an accurate assessment of your coin's value. They'll also be able to authenticate the error and verify that it's not a counterfeit. Also, be sure to get your coin graded and certified by a professional grading company, such as the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. Coins that are graded in high condition can command a premium price, so investing in grading might be worth it when it comes time to sell. Now, you may be wondering why these errors are so valuable in the first place. Well, the coin market is a fascinating space. Error coins like this are sought after by collectors and investors who are willing to pay top dollar for unique pieces of history. As a result, rare coins can sometimes be worth far more than their face value, even if they are just a few years old. The 2020p Washington quarter, with its double die error, has become one of the most highly sought-after coins in recent years. It's a perfect example of how small mistakes in the minting process can lead to extraordinary value. With the rarity of these error coins, there's no telling how much their worth could increase over time as more collectors discover them. So, there you have it. The 2020p Washington quarter with a double die error could be worth an incredible $1.8 million if you're lucky enough to find one. Be sure to check your coins carefully and keep an eye out for rare errors. Who knows? You might be sitting on a fortune.